G'day guys, this is Tier and welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. You guys have been asking for more build videos, so here I am delivering with episode 2. This time I'm going to be showing off my Rifleman / Commando build. Yes, you can use either fully auto rifles or single fire rifles, it doesn't really matter, it is all up to personal preference, considering it is only the switch of 3 perks. Now the purpose of this build is to deal the highest amount of damage as humanely possible with the use of sneak and VATs criticals. So you're going to see a lot of VATs perk cards in luck and agility being equipped. With that being said, VATs is being used, so it might be more beneficial to use Rifleman. I don't know, that's up to you guys to decide. I personally choose Rifleman for this build. Full disclaimer right here and now, this is a totally different playstyle to any of my other builds, past, future and present. To use this efficiently, you will need to take it slow in actual gameplay, as the build does not have a lot of defensive perks or health. Come to think of it, it doesn't have any of those. It has 1 endurance, and literally no defensive perks. But that is the sole reason I have put such high devotion into the sneak skill tree perk cards for this particular build. In my mind, you don't need any defensive perks if you will never be shot at to begin with. Because if you play your cards right, literally, and find the correct legendary armor, you will never become detected. A friend of mine, Angry Turtle, has a full guide to sneak, which I will link into the top right now, if you guys are interested. One last disclaimer before we get started, this is a bloodied sneak VATs Rifleman / Commando build. However, it does not need to be bloodied, and I will show alternatives to alter the playstyle later on in the video. Let's get straight into it. This is Hella, the Ranger. Hella is a one-shot, one-kill powerhouse. If an enemy takes more than a single bullet, then use a bigger gun, is the life motto Hella has come to live by since coming out of Vault 76 and adjusting to life in the now unforgiving wasteland. Hella was once an expert marksman for the military in the old world, however coming to terms with the world around her now has driven her to the brink of insanity. And while she is still elegant in both stalking and the execution of her targets, she has become a bit reckless and accustomed to her VATs Pip-Boy system. However, this can also be a weakness of hers. She has learnt to harness the art of surprise and sneak attacks on her enemies. With a brief summary and backstory out of the way, let's jump straight into the build itself. So, let's start off with the build. The base special stats of Hella are as follows: 2 strength, 15 perception, 1 endurance, 1 charisma, 8 intelligence, 15 agility and 14 luck. Remember, I personally run this as a bloodied build, so the risk and reward is much greater considering this build is already super squishy and weak, in favour of 1 shot 1 kill stopping power. Once in Nerd Rage threshold, 11 strength, 31 perception, 2 endurance, 11 charisma, 18 intelligence, 31 agility and 25 luck. The 3 main statistics we want to have boosted for this build are perception, agility and luck. Perception, so our VATs accuracy is as high as possible at all times. Agility, so we remain hidden whilst sneaking. And luck, so our VATs critical meter fills up faster and faster. All other stats are not particularly a focus for this build, but they do have their uses, such as strength for more carry weight. But our special stats are pretty much perfect for the build we are going for here. You could min-max this further with more unyielding armor and chems, but this is my base stats for the moment for what I am going for. Again, I'd like to reiterate that this build focuses on stealth, 1 shot 1 kills, so if you're hidden, you won't ever need survivability perks or endurance, or anything like that, because we should never be shot at if we remain hidden. Let's take a look at the actual perk cards now. For strength, I've decided to take max rank of Bandolier because I felt it was necessary, considering how much ammo I lug around on this character. Perception is a standard cookie cutter Rifleman setup, having max rank of Tank Killer, Concentrated Fire, and of course either Rifleman or Commando depending on your choice of weaponry. Tank Killer is essential for piercing through armoured targets, and Concentrated Fire is beyond useful for always guaranteeing a 95% accuracy shot in VATs. I'll be honest, endurance was kind of a hit or miss for me. I only have 1 point and almost all of the perks in there focus on food or survivability. There are no perks that benefit the Rifleman setup. So I decided to go with Cannibal rank 1. So at least whilst killing super mutants, ghouls and other humanoid creatures, I can restore some of my hunger easily. It's also funny to eat downed players from time to time. Charisma is another hit or miss section of the build. This build indefinitely plays solo, so almost all charisma based perks are useless towards us for this build. So, Tenderizer seemed like the appropriate choice for those cases when an enemy takes more than 1 shot. The second shot will have a multiplicative 5% damage debuff. I urge you guys to look into the mathematics behind some of these damage perks. There are additive and multiplicative damage modifiers in this game, and multiplicative like Tenderizer are way more useful and overlooked. Obviously the intelligence stat is all up to personal preference. I like to personally use explosive bloodied rifles, so I have max rank of Nerd Rage and Demolitions Expert. If you do not feel like you need to run this build bloodied, which I highly recommend that you do to get the most bang for your buck, then that is an extra 3 perk points that you can put into something else, taking out Nerd Rage. Again, while bloodied is not needed, it is definitely effective. Same can be said about Demo Expert. You might not use explosive weapons, so again that is an extra 5 points that you can use onto something else. So that is if bloodied explosive rifles are not your cup of tea. If you choose not to follow my build to the letter, then that is 8 perk points of your freedom you can play around with. Now onto agility. This is where the magic happens. We will want to pick up our sneak perks, like Escape Artist and Sneak to help stay hidden at all times, and also pick up our Covert Operative to literally increase our damage by 2.5 while sneaking. And oh man, these 2 perks are made for each other. Gun Fu and Adrenaline. With these 2 stacked, each successful kill whilst remaining in VATs will increase your damage by a lot. After 3 kills in VATs, Gun Fu gives you an additional 30% damage increase, and then on top of that, after 6 kills you get an additional 60% damage increase from Adrenaline. Other notable perks to think about using here are Mr. Sandman for when it is nighttime, so you can deal an extra 3.25% more damage. Now, we move on to luck. Obviously we want to have a slew of VATs related perks, including Grim Reaper Sprint, Better Criticals, Critical Savvy. I also recommend that you put on Bloody Mess for a little extra 15% additive damage modification. And we must of course have Starch Genes to keep our chosen mutations. Speaking of mutations, let's have a look at that. The mutations I have chosen for this character are as follows. Adrenal Reaction to synergize with my bloodied nature, Bird Bones for the extra sneak agility, Carnivore for obvious reasons, Chameleon because hey why not, it has no downsides and may come in handy if I choose to wear no armor, Eagle Eyes to further increase my VATS accuracy and critical VATS damage, Marsupial because I can't live without that, and Speed Demon for obvious reasons. You may add on whatever other mutations that fit your playstyle, but I found this is the only necessary mutations to have for this particular build. Let's talk about armor now. Me personally, I have chosen to go with wood armor. I don't have it right now, but I'm in the process of getting my set finished. You're probably thinking, Tyr, you're crazy. But hear me out. I know the shrouded wood armor is currently broken and doesn't work, but it will. It will be fixed eventually, and when it is fixed, shrouded wood armor will be the most effective sneaking armor in the game. So the legendary effects I run are Chameleon, harder to detect, shrouded chest piece. And for the limbs, I run unyielding, harder to detect, shrouded limbs. I know currently the harder to detect bonus does not stack, but who knows, maybe one day it will. Plus it's just a little bit of OCD, I need to have harder to detect on every single piece. It's good to be optimistic. So, to explain further, I run unyielding for the limbs to synergize with my bloodied low health build. While low health, I get a lot of sneak and accuracy bonuses from the bonus special stats, and Chameleon helps immensely while staying hidden. Hell, it might even be more beneficial to run a full set of Chameleon harder to detect wooden armor, but I've chosen this for the time being. Feel free to experiment and let me know what your results are. Now on to weapons. Again, because of the way I run this build, as a bloodied character, I use bloodied explosive weapons. As you can see, the Pip-Boy damage is no joke. I have some serious stopping power at my fingertips. Here, and all of this is further enhanced so much when Sneak and my other perks come into play, as you probably noticed with the background footage that has been going around in the process of this video. I prefer rifles at the moment because it is more ammo efficient, but if I were to switch to automatic weaponry, I would ditch the explosive perks and find a bloodied faster fire weapon like a handmade or a fixer, which has also been shown in the background of this, and it is pretty goddamn powerful. As you guys have seen through the video, I have shown everything possible to give you guys a comprehensive understanding of how to run an effective, overpowered bloodied sneak VATs rifleman / commando. Fuck, that's a mouthful. I've also shown a lot of proof that you don't need defensive perks if you solely focus on sneak. The background footage should have convinced you that this build is truly amazing when used correctly. I sincerely hope that you guys have fun using this build and this playstyle if you choose to use it. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more from me, then be sure to leave a like. If this is your first time here, then be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I'll have links in the description as well as my Discord if you want to come hang out. I've been Tyr, and I'll catch us in the next one. Peace.